tanked for the next siege. Blood Diamond are in trouble. They have not managed to get a grip on this game at all.
Honestly, again, just great decision making for me from Tribe Gaming EU. Just keeping the same comp is not often what you see, because ultimately those mind games can really play their mark in the Brawl Sports esports scene. I think that going with the same comp again was the right call here, massively so, and you can just see how effective it really is. Blood Diamond EU are definitely going to have to rethink going into the next game mode, because I'm sure there's no way they can come back now.
Honestly, I didn't realize Crow was this powerful until I've watched him in action in this game. Tom just seems to be, other brawlers seem to be just falling down whenever Tom gets near them. And it's amazing to see. With a level 13 siege pot, that is more than over. Tribe Gaming are going to take set one, really asserting their dominance in this series. Yes, they dropped the first game. They've picked things up now. We're going to be moving on to Bounty. And we're going to see if Blood Diamond can pick things up from there.
I mean, yeah, they're going to have to really consider this one carefully. Bounty is a good game mode, though. I would say when you're on the back foot to kind of like slow down the pace of the game, be more cautious around just kind of like less of an objective that can kind of move its way around the map, but just try and stay more secure with your kill to death ratio. Great to see early on Tribe Gaming mixing things up, despite that first loss in the first game of Siege, learning from that mistake, dropping down some brawlers which they really do like. Again, Spen loves to play Gene, so the best teams in the world are those that are able to drop their preferences in that respect and play what's right in the instance of the team that you're facing up against and the meta that you're in. So I really do like the changes you saw again, and focused heavily on it, and how effective Crow was there for Tom, because ultimately with good team communication, when you're getting a lot of barley shots and damage, being able to capitalize on the enemy team when they're weakest is where the Crow thrives. So yeah, I gotta say, I really like the changing that we saw there, and Blood Diamond are gonna have to definitely rethink their game plan going into our next game mode.
It just seemed like Byron in particular was just falling apart over and over again, Like Tom gets too close on the Crow, Byron goes down. B gets a supercharged shot hit on the Byron goes down. There was just very little that he could do defensively. But yes, we move on now. It is going to be Bounty on Shooting Star, a classic Bounty map. And we'll have to see if Blood Diamond can walk the walk. Can they get these vital eliminations required to win this game mode?
I love this. I can't wait to see some of the little hidden gems that we might see later on down the line.
Next brawler announced. There it is. It's the snake.
I know.
It's the snake. Spoilers. I'm sorry, Supercell. I'm sorry. I've revealed it. It's the snake is the next.
And, I think when it comes down to the brawler choices in Shooting Star, that's going to be a heavy consideration here. I think that for me, my go-to pick would be Piper, Nanny, and Tick in the mid. But ultimately, that might be switched up. We might see some potential for Gene. Again, the bans were Bell, Max, Surge, and Jesse. So, kind of been Surge, because Surge was playing in the last game, so I want to check that back. But
Stu.
Yeah, Stu, that was correct. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we are going to see it from both sides again. And already Tom popping a last hurrah to stay in the mix. Rafa now in a bad spot. He's going to have to pop on himself, and Spen capitalizes from the right-hand side.
Oh my gosh, look at that already. 2 players going down on Blood Diamond side as Casey gets a beautiful snipe there. I feel like this is the sort of gameplay where a team like Tribe can just really show how talented they are at the basic mechanics of Brawl Stars, right? You're looking at KC on the Piper. Every single shot counts, and, a player like KC will be hitting those shots.
Yeah, you got to make sure that every moment is capitalized on here, and you see again the case on that left-hand side, just connecting nicely. I'm sure running homing recipe as well. Surprised didn't follow up with that actually there, as it would have been a good time to capitalize, but keeping a nice awareness of range there as well. Very, very important on those Piper side lanes to do so.
The thing is, they don't really need to get eliminations now. As long as Tribe can just keep the other team back, they can just do that. They can weaken the other players, force them to step back and take the time to charge their health back up again. And that's fine. Time is money in this game now when you're ahead.
Absolutely, yeah. Trying to draw out some gadgets will go a long way as well, and the more that are used, the less arsenal at their disposal here. So Casey connects again with a nice shot on the left-hand side. Spen on the right as well, both Javi and Spen using the return to send there to keep the pressure on. Tom being pushed though into the mid, might go down. He's really out of position now, and surely Blood Diamond here will not I don't know how Tom stayed alive there. They didn't seem to capitalize on it.
9 stars to 0, 11 stars to 0. Tick is weak as well. He's going to gadget just in time to save himself, but it just doesn't matter. I think anything short of a full team wipe is not going to be enough. And even a full team wipe wouldn't be enough. Now that is going to be game over to Tribe, who are now on match point. Again, this is single elimination. So this now is Blood Diamond's final stand.
Yeah, and, you know, I've got to say, Tribe Gaming are looking very comfortable. They didn't make really any mistakes except for that moment where Tom was slightly out of position. But more often than not, they were holding lane, being really, really solid. And I've got to be honest, you know, Shooting Star is a map which doesn't seem to have that many options when it comes to mixing up brawler comps. This is, for me, the go-to, you know, comp of choice. So, you know, I'd be surprised if we see any changes. I mean, Mortis, maybe, but ultimately, you know, I think they're going to go with the same comp, but they're just going to have to play it better to stay in the mix it.
Yeah, I mean, the meta's kind of solved when you come to bounty maps like this, you know, Nani's, Piper's, Tick. It's all about long range. It's all about getting those snipes, getting those free eliminations, and then keeping the other team back. Again, that's why I actually really quite liked the players from Tribe Gaming before, where they weren't necessarily popping gadgets and going all out to get those eliminations. They were just keeping the other team back, knowing that there's really not that much that they can do to make a comeback. And here we go again. Same comps on both sides, and already look how weak Blood Diamond is. Nani, Piper, Tick, all having taken a chunk of damage.
Good start for Tribe, good positioning. Also, the blue star in their pocket, just in the event that, you know, if there is a tiebreaker and Tom still is holding on to it, that will come into play. Again, surprised that Case is not popping the gadgets on the homemade recipe there, because that would have been another ideal time to do so there. Nice takedown between himself and Spen, though. And again, for lots, again, but no homemade recipe. So I'm kind of surprised to see on that left-hand side, a lot of the options to do so, which would result to more stars. You see exactly there, rather than popping his. And, you know, just that's exactly what you need to be doing on those Piper side lanes.
I guess they didn't expect to see that from the other team, but here goes Peep! Oh, what is happening? Okay, eventually it's going to find elimination on the Nani. Blue Star still in the favor of Blood Diamond, so Tribe on the back foot. They are going to need to do something. I'm surprised to see Blood Diamond's Piper pushing so far forwards, but, you know, she's staying alive. That's what counts. The heads first is going to get a lot of damage in on Blood Diamond's Tick, who is now recovering. And Rafar's getting weak. Piper's getting weak. Dodging from side to side.
Rather in a really tight spot. It's worth noting the blue star is now with Blood Diamond EU. So, you know, very, very clutch last hurrah from Tom. But down goes Casey at the same time, giving the lead by 2 stars over to Blood Diamond. A bit of a return back and forth. Still a 2-star lead in favor of Blood Diamond EU.
Yeah, I mean, that is just 1 elimination. Well, it's actually 2 eliminations unless they can find elimination on the Piper, but Rafar is not going to go down so easily. They're pushing forwards now, though. Tom, KC are both going for it. They need to find elimination on Rafar. Rafar finds KC, though, jumps forwards, and it's not going to matter anymore. Blood Diamond tie up this set. We're still on match point arc. Blood Diamond has shown that they have still got some fight in them.
Yeah, I think that, you know, going in with a much more calculated approach. I think Rafa was doing a ton of work on that side lane as well. Just a few moments there where, you know, for me, Tribe Gaming just kind of always seemed like they were not really as in control as they were in the previous round. They got to kind of, like, you know, get that early lead, hold the mid, and just kind of do what they were doing in the previous round because, yeah, Blood Diamond has shown that they are not taking this lying down. They are still going to keep fighting on. And again, with so little brawlers ready for this kind of matchup to really experiment with, you got to keep playing the comp, but playing it better.
Yep, absolutely. And playing it better, Tribe Gaming were earlier, but just weren't able to this time around. I do wonder what went differently there, because it did seem at the start that Tribe were hitting the shots, whereas Blood Diamond weren't. But I think it's as simple as with a Piper and a Nani, just getting those sneaky snipes in just once or twice can be all you need to do. Like you said, there are a few situations where KC didn't quite follow up and get those eliminations where perhaps he could have done with a little pop of the homemade recipe gadget. But maybe they'll do things differently moving forwards. It's going to be the 3rd game of this set coming up. Presumably same lineups on each side. Yep, no changes here. Tom going to grab that blue star immediately, and we are a go.
Yeah, no surprise to see the same mirror comp, but again, this is good from Tribe. Good early positioning here, but they've got to get if they can, a little bit more of a lead to hold it with any kind of conviction, really. But Blue Star with Tom, as we saw in the previous round also. But yeah, we did see it change hands. If we can see maybe some more gadget use from the left-hand side with KC, I think a lot of his snipes, like you mentioned rightly so, last game were connecting, but just not being finalized. And Rafa had a big, juicy amount of stars on his head last game, so he's coming out with some serious plays at the moment. Probably gonna have to slow that down though.
Tribe playing very defensively at the moment, not necessarily trying to push for eliminations, but again, if nobody gets eliminated from this point on, Tribe do win, so it's not really up to them to get the eliminations here. Rafa takes a lot of damage. Tick also takes a lot of damage on Blood Diamond's side, and they are having to back up and charge their health back up.
Okay, well, it's only one star that separates things, and you know, that can make the biggest difference. Again, the homemade recipe there would have been great for Rafa on the retreat, but I don't know why we're not seeing much of that happening. I know with the cases holding on to them for maybe the late game for some kind of clutch play to have, but I gotta say, I think that we need to see more of that, as now Blood Diamond are pushing up closer on the spawn here. Tribe Gaming on the back foot going into the final moments would be a very difficult place to be. Now we're seeing the gadget from KC, and you can see how important it is and how much of a turner it can be, as now Tribe take a more convincing lead.
Yeah, slightly more convincing. Now with the elimination from the Nani there, really convincing. Tick charges forwards, gadgets far too soon, and just gets wiped out by KC in a disaster for Blood Diamond. That is going to be game, set, match. Tribe take this one down. Tom, Spen, and Casey showing they've still got it. Blood Diamond, again, a very nice performance for their first time here in the monthly finals. I look forward to seeing more of them in the future, but for now, Tribe Gaming are your final semi-finalists.
Well, I said at the beginning they had to come in this month and better themselves in their previous performance, and they have done just that. They are going now through to the semi-finals. Again, last year, a bit of a slow start to the season. This year, a similar story, but they are breaking that cycle now, and now a real strong chance to go on to the grand finals. They've just got to get past the might then now of AC Milan clash.
They do. It is going to be a mighty battle coming up a little later. But first, here are some of the best moments from what was a really exciting series, actually. Here we see the final blow from Tribe Gaming, obviously having won all 3 sieges. They had that one in the bag. But then we had a comeback from Blood Diamond, taking the second game of Bounty. Again, it has to be said, Blood Diamond were able to take 1 game in each set, and that's no small feat. These are some very quick series that take place here in the Brawl Stars Championships, so even taking 1 game each set is quite a lot to be proud of, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be so consistent. You've got to keep switching everything up, and just, I think now is the time as well, going into the semis, where teams can do that a lot more. They can start to kind of experiment a little bit and have a bit more time. With a best of 5 on the way, we're going to see games stretched out a little bit more, and teams having a little bit more time to consider their approach.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so important, thinking through compositions, thinking through exactly how you want to tackle each game when you're talking about the best of the best players in Brawl Stars. It's so important to have these abilities, have someone, I think, leading the team, having you think through which composition you're going to take, why, what you're going to do with your bans. Honestly, there is so much to think about when it comes to competitive Brawl Stars. But, Ark, we are going to leave these teams for a few moments to think for themselves, because we're moving on to semi-final 1 very soon. But before we do, we've got something very, very exciting to look at. Now, I think it's time to focus on a player from the SCSA and ANZ region that really needs no introduction. A 2020 world champion under the PSG organization last year, now flying the Team Flash banner. Let's take a look at one of the most valuable brawlers in the scene. It's Kuda Ace.
We all know that legendary brawlers are elusive to find, but I can assure you that legendary players are notoriously far harder to come by. Welcome to MVB, Most Valuable Brawler, the series where we highlight some of the most legendary players in the history of Brawl Stars and take a deeper look at how they've built their legacies. Today, we're going to be taking a look at our current reigning world champion Kuda Ace from the SCSA and ANZ region to find out precisely this.
Can they get that one last kill? Kuda Ace jumps in, goes for this killing shot, fires away. Little Giant can't stop him. That's it.
Coup de Ace is a Singaporean pro and team captain for Team Flash, formerly PSG Esports, who has been competing as a Brawl Stars pro player since before many of us had even picked up the game. Just a short while back, shockwaves were sent through the competitive scene following the huge announcement that Coup and his teammate Response had decided to leave PSG Esports and create a brand new roster, with the talents of former PSG star JK and CZK to seek new prospects with a fresh face to Brawl Esports, Team Flash.
Like I wanted to see, because like during this COVID period, like maybe with the Singapore, or we could do like more, maybe the all is like more into our seat, like into my team, and like could help my team in like a lot of ways. Could have like a team house without having to travel, you know.
Considering the 2020 Brawl Stars Championship trophy is currently being held in the PSG Esports cabinet, the development has been one of the biggest stories of 2021, made even bigger by the fact that Coop and his teammates are so confident with their new lineup that they were willing to sacrifice the championship points earned from their March monthly final victory to make the mid-season change.
Like we haven't signed for Team Flash yet, so we just use other names like Leather Warriors and whatnot. So until we sign for Team Flash and we got the official announcement, then that's when we change to Team Flash.
But that type of thoughtful, outside-of-the-box strategy means nothing if it doesn't translate to his actual gameplay. But fortunately, it does.
Right there, Response getting very aggressive with the speed and the boost. Might be able to pass it to Coop. Wow, and take a look at that.
A good leader would be nothing without all the necessary skills needed to lead. It's very common in Brawl Stars for a player to describe their role as either aggro or support, which is why Coup de Ace is such an interesting talking point. Of course, he can perform both these roles with great skill, more so aggro than support. But where Coup really excels is with his vast game knowledge and in particular his game sense over mechanics.
It's all on my shoulders and everything. Like I have huge responsibilities for my team. I have to be able to like juggle through every single thing, like make sure like I'm doing what's best. Like maybe like certain ballers, my teammates do that. I need to take all this into consideration and feel like which is best for my team.
His approach is a highly calculated one, where he specifically allows his opposition to make the first move before responding with aggression of his own to alleviate the threat and relieve his teammates of the pressure. Having this unique mindset allows him to be the perfect team player, as with solid communication he can multitask callouts to his teammates for how they too can turn their situation around and achieve lane control if they're ever struggling. It's a given that legendary players must achieve legendary results to earn their place in the Brawl Stars Hall of Fame, and it must be said that very few have achieved half as much as Coup de Ace in their professional playing career. He's a member of an exclusive club of pro players who have qualified for 2 consecutive World Finals, and last year entered the most elite club after he and his teammates were crowned the 2020 Brawl Stars World Champions.
Coup de Ace gets one final pull, and that is it. PSG Esports are your Brawl Stars 2020 World Champions.
It goes without saying that this was Coop's proudest achievement to date, and a title that he firmly intends to retain in this year's competition. The question now is whether he'll be able to become the first player in Brawl Stars history to lift the trophy for a second time. But what we do know for sure is that with 2 monthly final first place finishes already secured in the SCSA and ANZ region, he and his team are already off to a flying start.
For me, losing is not an option. I just try my very best in every game. So even when I lose, I take it very hard on myself. And like I try to be as consistent as possible.
So what do you think? Is Coup de Ace worthy of the title of MVP? Who else should be crowned? Let us know and join us next time to see who we highlight as another most valuable brawler.
Welcome back to the Brawl Stars monthly finals onto the MEA region. And welcome back, Teddy. How did you enjoy those last 2 quarterfinals, Teddy?
I really did, man. Despite some 2-0 scorelines, man, I can tell you those matches were much more close than it looks on paper. And I think this is going to be setting a bit of a tone for our semifinals. I'm expecting some more heat and some more close matches here.
Awesome. Well, let's take a look at the bracket for a little refresher of where we stand right now. And here you go. SK Gaming took down Reply Totem, and Mood Gaming took down FA Trio. And this is going to be our first semi-final. Later on, we've got AC Milan Clash up against Tribe Gaming EU after they beat BK Rogue Esports and Blood Diamond EU, respectively. But you know what, Teddy? I'm feeling a little bit chaotic right now. I think the chat has been a little bit too civilized for my liking. So we've got a surprise for you. If you type in #BB17 and your in-game player tag in the chat now, in the next 10 minutes, you will be entered for a chance to win one of 15 Heroine BB skins. Only one tag will be counted per viewer, so only write it once. It will count, I promise. And the lucky 15 winners will be individually notified in-game within a week. And the winners that don't own the skin will just receive both the Brawler and the Heroine BB skin. Again, it's #BB17 in the chat and your unique player tag. Best of luck, and I want to see these names being put in the chat now. What do you think of that, Teddy? How exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all like free stuff. So, yeah, I'm definitely into that, man. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing which one of you guys will be getting those skins. 15 on the line. So, quite some solid chances at going home with a free skin today.
Absolutely. Don't forget, you've only got 10 minutes to do this, so make sure you do it now. But now, without further ado, let's move on. It's going to be SK Gaming up against Mood Gaming coming up next. Now, we had some really close quarterfinals earlier on today, especially the SK Gaming one. They've already been, put to their paces. What do you think of this coming matchup, Teddy?
It's definitely an interesting one, a matchup we haven't seen too many times in the past. Obviously, Mood being their first appearance in the monthly finals can maybe use that as a bit of an advantage to surprise them. On the other hand, we know SK Gaming, they always do their homework, always do their research when it comes down to those matches. They are literally the team that is always the most aware of what picks and comps each team likes, and I'm sure they will be prepared to counter that as much as possible.
They're certainly a team with a lot of pedigree in Brawl Esports. They know what they're doing. Now we're moving on to best out of 5 for the semi-finals, and to kick things off, we are jumping in to Gem Grab on Ice Fort. It's not looking so icy anymore, Teddy, but look at that flyover.
Yeah, it definitely is, and maybe we'll get the name updated at some point. This is one of those maps that has had its name just changing up depending on the environment. Definitely not very icy, but we'll see. Maybe it's because of all the heat we can expect on this map. Yeah, SK, they're looking strong, man. They have 2 monthly finals in the bag, one when they ended up in first place, one in second. Mood Gaming have yet to really show us how far they can get when it comes down to the monthly finals. So I'm excited about this one. I think Mood Gaming are in here with a challenge, but I mean, FA Trio was a challenge as well, and they took that one very bravely.
Looking at the bans now, Teddy, we've got Sprout, Byron banned by SK, 8-Bit and Ruffs banned by Mood Gaming. So that's a little bit different. Sprout, Byron, and 8-Bit. I don't believe these are brawlers that we've seen banned at all yet today. And I don't think we've actually seen Ruffs banned much either. So this is very different. Both Stu and Bell playable. What is this? What am I watching?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I think I'm the most curious about the Sprout ban. We'll see. Obviously, on this map, it's very much playable. Once we get a look at the map pool again, we'll see maybe if some other maps just have really good positions for Sprout. This does mean that we have Bell available, and it is going to be picked up by Semantic on the left-hand side. They're not even really challenging him. He just has an open lane over there. They're really stacking up the right-hand side here, Mood Gaming.
Honestly, Belle looking very powerful already, and we've only been watching her for about 20 seconds as Semantic is hitting the shots and dealing the damage. Tara going to move forwards, but Semantic predicted that movement. Belle's ability is going to help make short work of those shades. And still, it does seem to be SK Gaming with a slight advantage. Equark retreating on the left side there with 2 gems. Tara falls to Semantic, though. We're going to have a Belle off on the left, and Equark is going to win that, but it doesn't matter too much as Skyrix has complete control of the center and is just scooping up gems.
Yeah, I think the Bell Super is the most interesting if you can get it on the gem carrier like SK did, because it means that, your gem carrier can't really die. It's a lot of problems if you die and drop those gems, so it can be a real threat, but right now, Skyrix is pretty much a challenge until the pool comes through, but really good use of the environment there from Skyrix to use the walls to just block it off and not get sucked down.
it didn't seem like the other players were even contesting Skyrix, as Skyrix was just scooping up all of the gems. And there you're going to go, just like that. SK Gaming take the first game of gem grab, and that was a very confident performance. Both teams had Bell, and I expect that to be a trend that continues through the rest of this series. I'm really surprised to see Bell unbanned. Do you think that's just an oversight by both teams, both expecting the other to ban her?
I think that might have been the case, to be honest. I'm really interested in Mood's reasoning, because they had the exact same bans in their first match against FA Trio, going for the 8-bit and the roughs, which already were kind of standing out. Like, not really brawlers you expect to see banned, especially not both of them banned by the same team, because as you rightly said, it just leaves so many openings regarding the bans. So yeah, I'm really curious to see how that's going to be playing out. Obviously, SK was a convincing game. I really liked how you pointed out as well that Skyrix was pretty much unchallenged in the center area. And I think that's just a statement of how much space SK, on the lanes were making for Skyrix to be free to just navigate around the map.
Absolutely. This is a very big match, Teddy, actually. A very big match indeed, because Mood Gaming, of course, a little bit of an underdog here up against SK, who are, I think it's fair to say, one of the kingpins of this region. They were a hugely dominant team last year. They're back at it again. How do you think Mood have the potential to stand up against them?
I mean, I think any team that makes it to the monthly final has the potential. After that, pulling it off, successfully, both in comms, both in strategies, but also just mechanically, it's going to be a challenge. SK, they are just the perfect balance of highly mechanically gifted players, extreme talent, and really good strategy and homework. So it's just really tough to take them down, although Mood Gaming so far with some good early control.
Yes, indeed. SK were pushed back nicely, but now SK are going to be in the center. And once again, Skyrix on the Gene is going to sit there, hopefully uncontested. Interestingly, no Bell this time from Mood Gaming, but SK continuing to bring her. I wonder if this is just a call from SK, or rather a difference of opinion between the two teams. SK just thinking to themselves, you know what? Bell is strong enough. We just should bring her. And Mood Gaming maybe not quite agreeing with that.
Yeah, it could also be because in game 1, Equak was rocking the Bell in the center as a gem carrier, and maybe none of the lane players are really willing to play that. It doesn't really matter because the countdown is going the way of Mood. They have that 7-gem lead, and the only way to cancel that countdown is going to be to pick up the kill on Equak. He's hiding on the right-hand side. 3 seconds left. There is a pull on Skyrix. Does connect, but no time. Oh my, 152 HP. That was a close one.
That was a close one indeed, Teddy. But I gotta say, so far, Mood Gaming, they're putting up a really good fight, at least for me. They're playing against one of the best teams in Brawl Stars esports. Historically, SK Gaming have got such a name. And Mood Gaming, they're definitely showing they're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I tend to say the same stuff very often when you end up having a bit of a newer team when it comes down to those monthly finals, and the favorites of the event, the titans of the region, which are SK Gaming at the moment, is that every single team, the one team they are particularly going to be analyzing and just looking up to is going to be SK, because they're the ones on the top. They want to make sure that they're up to date with the strats, with everything, because they're the trendsetters. They're the ones, I don't want to quite say defining the meta, but pretty much. So yeah, Mood Gaming, they definitely did their homework right so far. We'll see if they can keep it up like that for the rest of this match. But yeah, decider game here in set number 1 already.
Just imagine the upset if Mood Gaming are able to take this all the way and go through to the finals, knocking SK Gaming out in the semis. It's definitely looking possible at the moment. Like you said, we're on decider for set 1. Gem grab could go either way. Mood Gaming are here to assert their dominance and prove themselves. It's their first appearance here in the monthly finals, and it looks like they are really here to make it count.
Yeah, they are hungry. I was talking to some of the guys from Mood, and they were so happy to qualify. They had, I think, one monthly final last year, but it was a long time ago, and just getting back there They were super emotional a bit about it, and it's just a lot on the line.
Just a
definitely...
quick announcement, Teddy. There's 1 minute left on the raffle. I hate to cut you off there, but guys, if you haven't entered it yet, make sure you go ahead and do that. You do not want to miss out on potentially getting a free Heroine BB skin.
Very fair point, Falcone. SK Gaming, though, was a bit of a lead gem-wise so far. Gems on Jedan mostly, which is quite interesting. Definitely not what they're trying to have, but actually it seems like he might be transitioning towards a bit more of a gem-carrying role right now.
Yeah, Skyrix now is going to have to maybe use a pull here to try and get that Max, but Max dashing away. It's not going to happen. Skyrix needs backup. It's not... Oh, SK Gaming are falling behind. Teddy Moods seem to have control. Both teams have given up on Bell at this point. Mood Gaming seem to have set the trend and do seem to be taking this one down.
Yeah, it's looking really good for them. They have some nice center control as well. Semantic coming in. Jedan picks up DD. This is going to be SK back in control. They don't have a Gene, which means they don't have any pulls available. We'll see how that is gonna impact things as DD and Semantic battle it out. Will be won by Semantic with some assistance from Skyrix and Jedan from the side as well. Gem-wise, it's getting closer and closer, Dan.
All right, guys, the 10-minute window for the BB skin raffle is over. No more entries will be recorded, so chats, you can return to normal now. The 15 raffle winners will be notified in-game in the coming week. Good luck to everyone who entered, and now good luck to these players fighting it out, tooth and claw. SK Gaming able to make a comeback here. 9 gems, but this is going to be one of those games, Teddy, where the players are fighting until the bitter end. Mood Gaming should just about be able to grab the next 2 gems if they can keep control of the center, but Jeton going to dash forward. Now somebody needs to get eliminated or SK are going to take this.
Oh, good attempt from RZM,
No!
but it's not quite gonna be enough as SK take down Mood here in set number 1. This could really have gone both ways, Dan.
It really could have done. Again, Mood Gaming, a very impressive performance for them.